Practice 9-8, using the discriminant. So we use the discriminant of the quadratic formula to figure out how many solutions an equation might have. So the discriminant is just the inside portion of this square root sign in the entirety of the quadratic formula. So if the inside part of that b squared minus 4ac is greater than 0, that means there's two solutions. If it equals 0, that means there's one solution. And if it's less than 0, so if it's a negative number, that means there's no solution. And you remember that from the last lesson, where anytime we had a negative number in front of or inside of the square root sign, the answer was always going to be no solution. So all we're going to do here is use this inside part, b squared minus 4ac, to figure out how many solutions each of these equations have. So our first one is x squared plus 6x plus 10. So a is 1, b is 6, and c is 10. So what we're just going to do is say b squared, which is 6 squared, minus 4 times 1 times 10. Okay, because this is a and this is c. So 6 squared is 36. Minus 4 times 1 times 10, which is 40, and 36 minus 40 is negative 4. That means there are no solutions. Okay, so this is your answer, no solutions. Now we have x squared minus 8, so negative 8 is b, and positive 15 is c. So we are going to use b squared minus 4ac. So we have negative 8 squared minus 4 times 1 times 15. So negative 8 squared is the same as negative 8 times negative 8, and that is positive 64 minus 4 times 1 times 15, which is 60. And 64 minus 60 is positive 4. So since this is a positive number, this equation has two solutions. So this is going to be your answer, two solutions. Okay, now we have 3x squared minus 18x plus 27. So we're going to use b squared, which is negative 18 squared, minus 4 times a, which is 3, times c, which is 27. So we are going to find 18 squared, which is 324, minus 4 times 3 times 27, which is 324. And 324 minus 324 is 0. So this doesn't mean that there's 0 solutions. What this means is that there is one solution. So this is your answer. So now we have negative x squared equals 4x plus 6. But don't forget that we want this equation to equal 0. So what we're going to do is add x squared to both sides so that there's nothing on this side of the equal sign. So we are going to have 0 equals x squared plus 4x plus 6. So a is 1, b is 4, and c is 6. And now we can use our equation for the discriminant. So b squared, so 4 squared, minus 4 times 1 times c, which is 6. So 4 squared is 16, minus 4 times 1 times 6, that's 24. And this equals negative 8. So since this is a negative number, what that means is that there are no solutions. And this is your answer. So a is 7, b is 16, and c is 11. So we have b squared, which is 16 squared, minus 4 times a, which is 7, times c, which is 11. So 16 squared is 256, minus 4 times 7 times 11, which is 308. So 256 minus 308 is negative 52. So this negative number means that there are no solutions. And this is your answer. Okay, number 16, we have 16x squared plus 8x equals 1. But remember that we want all of these numbers on one side of the equal sign, and we want this side to equal 0. So we are going to add 1 to both sides. So we have 16x squared plus 8x plus 1 equals 0. So 16 is A, 8 is B, and 1 is C. So we are going to plug this into the equation b squared minus 4ac. So we have 8 squared minus 4 times 16 times 1. So 8 squared is 64 minus 4 times 16, and that is 64. And 64 minus 64 is 0. So anytime the discriminant equals 0, that means you have one solution. And this is your answer. Okay, we have negative 16 equals x squared plus 10x, but remember that on one side of the equal sign, we want to have a 0, so we're going to add 16 to both sides, so we can cancel this out, and we are going to have 0 equals x squared plus 10x plus 16. So for A, we have an invisible 1 in front of the x squared, B is 10, and C is 16. So we are going to plug it into the equation. So b squared, that's 10 squared, minus 4 times 1 times 16. So 10 squared is 100, minus 4 times 16, which is 64, and that is positive 36. So anytime you have a positive number, we are going to have two solutions. So this is your answer. And last one, we have 3x squared minus 3. As you can see, there is no single x. So what that means is that b is going to be 0. Okay? C is negative 3, and positive 3 is a. So we have, So we have b squared, which is 0 squared, minus 4 times a, which is 3, times c, which is negative 3. So we have 0 minus 4 times 3 is 12, times negative 3 is negative 36. So we have minus a negative number, which means we are actually adding. So this is positive 36, and since this is a positive number, we actually have two solutions. So this is your answer for this problem. And that is it for practice 9-8.